Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Gag Is Pod. I am your girl Charlie Shantae. Thank you for joining me on another episode. And like I always say, if this is and I'm not even gonna take that blooper out. If this is a new episode, so if since this is a new episode, that's still all wrong. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Gag Is Pod. I am your girl Charlie Shantae. Thank you for joining me on another episode, and you know what that means. If it's a new episode, then it must be a Friday. However, whatever day you're listening to this, I'm just appreciative that you are listening to this. There we go. There there we go. Like, okay, is that setting the tone for the episode today? But y'all know me. Y'all gonna hear that. That's a blooper. I never take out my bloopers because I am human. If you have not already, please make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing on your favorite podcasting app. Please make sure you're hitting a little notification in the top. It probably is like a little plus sign. Make sure you hit that. That way, when a new episode is released, you are one of the first to get it. And all you got to do is hit play. It's already right there. Make sure you're following us on YouTube at The Gag Is Pod and on Instagram with the same handle. Like I always say, grab your drink or whatever it is that you grab and do when you're listening to this. And we're going to jump into today's episode. Um, man, um, I felt that like this topic was not even on my radar. I'm not even going to lie to you, but it started becoming on my radar because I feel like as parents, we do so much and not enough at the same time, and we don't realize that we are burning ourselves out. So today we're just gonna talk about little parent burnout because your girl is tired. Like there's a lot going on. School has started back. There's sports, new faces dealing with injuries. It's just a lot going on. And if you notice, I didn't even say anything about me. I said this is all the things that New Face is dealing with, not even me. So today's episode is justified. I'm having parent burnout, and I'm trying to, you know, I'm I know if I'm going through it, y'all are going through it too. Like I said, school just started, either in August or September. We start in August. Some people start in September after Labor Day. And I did a whole series on how to get prepared for back to school, how to get through different stuff, how to take care of the kids. I did a little self care, and I was like, on the weekends, do your stuff and chill, whatever, whatever. But I never talked about what to do when it becomes too much. So today we're going to dive in that a little bit. You know, just so is this is like an easy and a hard topic because we have the topic like as a parent we are burnt out. But why is it that we have the solution for everything else, for how our kids need to deal with stuff, how we need to deal with stuff for other people, but we can't address our own type of things? And then when we do it, potentially in the wrong way. So if you are a parent and you're like, oh my goodness, I am tired. I feel like I'm not getting enough rest, or I don't have any time for me anymore. This episode is for you. I got my little notes here. See, like I love that with each episode I'm involved in. So I got my little notes here. That some of the things that we're going to talk about, all of this may not resonate with you, but this is just from my personal experience. And, I hope that whatever we talk about today inspires somebody, encourages somebody. You take something from it and then you go take it and share it with other people. But when you take it and share it with other people, please make sure you're telling them to come listen to the episode for themselves so that they can get more love, little eggs, more little drops, or what have you. So, like I said, school year has started. We're entering the second 9 weeks, and within the first 9 weeks, we have had swim meets, we have had homework, and we have had injuries, and this is all within 9 weeks. Oh my goodness, let me tell you. And then not on top of that, the boy got his driver's permit. Okay. So you understand my level of stress. So all of this is going on, and during this time, I'm realizing that I'm not taking care of me. I'm losing me. I'm slacking on my content creating. I'm slacking on the podcasting. I'm having writer's block, and I'm just not producing the things that make me happy. And from even before I was an adult, like when I was a teenager, I always knew that I kind of, we getting off topic, but that's for another time. But I just realized that I wasn't putting me first, and the things that I like, the things that I enjoy doing, I wasn't putting those things first. So I had to realize, what point, or you're taking care of everything and everybody else, and you're doing everything for this child, like you're ripping and running, but what are you doing for yourself? Because how long can you continue to do this before you're not good for yourself? And if you're not good for yourself, how can you be good for your child? So I I mean, I'm trying to hold it together this episode, but the topic is it's so, every topic that I talk about is relatable, but this one, I'm talking about it while I'm going through it. I think that's what the difference is. Typically, I talk about a subject and I've already gone through it, I've already dealt with it or everything like that. But this one, I'm actually dealing with it while I'm talking to y'all as well. So bear with me. We're going to get through this together. I've noticed when, since school has started back and with all these sports, and then when I get home and I try to take some time for myself, I notice that like I'm not getting in the bed till like 10, 11 o'clock, and I get up at 4:30 for work. So I'm, like I said, I'm getting in the bed at 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm not falling asleep till like midnight. So I'm only running on like 4 or 5 hours at best of sleep, and I know that that's not okay, that's not good, that's not okay. I typically, when things are good and everything is ordered, I'm averaging about 8 to 10 hours of sleep, because I have a period where I start shutting my body down, I start winding down. Now I will say, a couple of weeks ago I did start Pilates at 7. New Faces Swim is over with at 6. I drop him off at home and I go to Pilates at 7. Then I come home and I start winding down, and it has been a good wind down. And it has also helped me to get to sleep, stay asleep, and get a little bit more hours. According to my watch, I'm getting about 6 hours now, which is pretty good. But I know over time that I can't continue to run off of between 4 and 6 hours a night. I know that I'm going to have to go back to that 8 to 10. And you're like, well, that seems like a lot. That's what works for me. You just have to find your sleep pattern and whatever. And I also have a sleep window. So if I don't go to sleep within a certain window, then it's kind of like I've missed it, and I'm going to be up and it's going to be a long night. And then I'm going to need the big coffee. Okay. That's just what it is. Um, so some of the signs, like I said, is lack of sleep, and you're not doing things for yourself. And you can go, I'm not a medical professional or anything like that, but there are studies out there that show that as a parent, if you continually stay on the go, 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 you could be at risk for things such as high blood pressure, um, diabetes, and other cardiovascular things. You can have strokes, you can have heart attacks, and different things like that. I never wanted to um, get to that point. I feel like, and I was talking to Nick about this the other day. I feel like as a parent, we have to parent very different from what the way our parents parented us, especially when it comes to sports. When we did sports, it was practice at the school, 1 or 2 hours. That's the end of that. It was like $5 or $10 to play, just so you can get your team shirt and different things like that. Today, these kids are still having practice, but they're having practices way places that you have to drive them to, like far, like New Face. He's swimming for his school right now. So that swim practice is 10 minutes from the house. When he swims with his club, that is 30 minutes from the house. And that's just 30 minutes one way. So it's 30 minutes there and it's 30 minutes back. The time commitment, the money commitment, it becomes a lot. And, it's like we as parents want our kids to do so good, and we're like, we're going to do anything we can. So I was on social media and I'm part of some swim groups, and I seen a parent ask the question, how does your child have a social life with swim. And somebody was like, they really don't outside of swim and this, that, and the third. But while we're asking the questions, what kind of social life do kids have? What kind of social life do parents have? Because a lot of these kids can't drive. They can't get themselves to where they need to be. Um, we want our kids to be social and different things like that. But again, we have to make sure that we're putting ourselves first and we're not burning ourselves out and just committing and saying, yes, 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 yes. I know last year when New Face started competitive swim, every meet that they had, I was like, we're going to that meet, we're going to that meet, we're going to that meet. For 3 months straight, we were at a meet every weekend. And I was like, we cannot keep this up. We cannot do this. We're going to have to pick and choose what meets that we go to. And these meets are not around the corner. They're not up the street. These meets are like an hour away, almost 2 hours away, and that's just one way. So I'm like, we're not doing that because I am burnt out. I know, you kind of you're tired too, but you get to sleep a little bit while I'm driving, so you're not as burnt out as me. And I think that as parents, we've become so competitive against other parents. It's like, yeah, I want my kid to do good. So it's like, in the same time that you want your kid to do good, are you trying to outparent another parent by via your child? Which is causing more and more of apparent burnout. We got to look, are we self inflicting some of this parent burnout? And you could probably say, well, no, I'm doing it for my child. So how can it be inflicting? You have to learn how to say no sometimes. You have to know when to say when, because these are children. And do we want the best for them? Yes, but we also got to say no. We got to say when, because we need time for ourselves. Because if you don't say no, you're going to get lost in the sauce and you're going to be dealing with more than parent burnout. That's when depression started kicking in and different stuff. You start picking up bad habits because you're burnt out. And so at that point, you're just looking for coping mechanisms, whether it be drinking, whether it be smoking, or whatever whatever your idea of unwind or take the edge off. What is the word I'm looking for? There's a word that I am looking for. Um, whatever your it'll come to me at a random moment. But whatever it is you do to unwind, like that's your thing, and it can become a potential problem in a habit. So instead of fixing it, it's kind of like you're band-aiding it with whatever your vice, smoking, drinking, whatever your vice is. You're band-aiding it. You're not fixing the problem. So it's kind of like, for example, I have a lot of clothes and I shop from time to time. And instead of getting rid of some old clothes, I just go get more clothes hangers. And what am I doing? I'm just putting a band aid on that. I'm not fixing the problem. So then I'm going to have a closet full of clothes that barely get wore. Then I'm going to eventually run out of room. And it's the same like that with parenting. You're going to continue to go. And then you're just going to find more band aids, more vices to help deal with it. And you're not even fixing the problem, and then it's going to become worse and worse and worse. It's kind of like, if you remember, I don't know the age demographic that's listening to this episode, but on Saved by the Bell, I believe it was Kelly, when she was on, like, she was so tired and she started taking those caffeine pills to when she just collapsed. Like, her body just gave up. And that's one thing, you never want your body to give up on you. You got to make sure you're hydrating. There's so much you have to do other than say no. Like, you got to take care of yourself, because parent burnout, it's real. I To me, parent burnout is equivalent to having a newborn, but it just never ends. Like, they don't grow out of the phase, because the older they get, the higher the demand. Like newborns, they, as they get older, they gonna grow out of the cycle. They're gonna start sleeping longer and different stuff like that. With parent burnout, the older they get, the more the obligation get, especially if they can't drive. Mm. I mean, it just, so again, I asked the question, you want your child to do good, but are you trying to out parent another parent? Like, think about it. Is it the kids burning us out, or is it our need to out parent another parent what's really burning us out? Um, you know, I I get guilty. I feel guilty sometimes. And I was just telling Nick the other day, I said I need to go get a massage because I used to go get massages. I used to go get facials and different stuff like that. A lot of self-care. This weekend I'm finna go get my legs waxed because they look terrible. I cannot. I'm burnt out. I'm burning quicker than a firecracker fuse. I'm getting burnt out. So I was like, I need to go have some self care. I'm gonna go get my legs wet, and I'm probably finna make me an appointment, get me a massage. And it's still a little warm outside. It's still humid, so I ain't quite ready for a facial yet. Even though my face is screaming, I have got to do something because I gotta do. I've got to do something. Um, so one thing I do know is that everybody the body needs rest. I remember a couple weeks ago, I laid on the couch for the entire weekend. All I did was get up and eat, take a shower, and get back on the couch. And Nufe said, "That's all you gonna do this weekend?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I've come out here twice and you've been asleep. My body is tired. I get up at 4:30 to go to work. I get off. I take you to practice until 6. That's 14 hours right there. And then by the time we get home, it's 6:30, and I go to Pilates just to have a little piece of myself. And then I have to come home. I have to eat. And by the time I get home, I take a shower and I eat and I get in the bed. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's like 9:30, 9:45, 10 o'clock. So for a Saturday and Sunday, I sat on the couch and I sat and I rotted on the couch and I never felt better. Parents, it is okay to sit on the couch and rot. I promise you, the world is not going to end. And when I tell you, after I did it, I felt refreshed. And I said, you know what? I got to do this more often because this feels amazing. Like I could just literally feel the stress leaving my body. Like I can feel like the renewedness, the refreshness. And, I don't think riding on the couch is a every weekend thing, but I think it should happen off twice a month, once or twice a month. Once definitely, twice if you got that kind of time, just so you can refresh yourself. And one of the things that I always recommend, if you have a village, reach out to see if just maybe, I know one time I was like rushing from work and I text my mom like, hey, can you drop him off at swim? Like I'm running behind. And I knew that he was going to be super late if I came all the way to the house to get him, versus I could have took a different way to. And so to get home is one way, to get to swim is a different way. I could have just went the other way and just met him at swim. We leave his stuff at the house. That way, in the event that I cannot make it, he could just grab his stuff and he can still go to swim, and he's not dependent on me having to come and pick him up. One thing, you got to set realistic expectations with yourself. Yes, it's good to be like, oh yeah, New Face can come to a play date or New Face can go to the movie. But at the same time, you got to make sure you have the capacity to do that, because if you don't have the capacity to do that, it's okay to say no. The movie's not going anywhere. They may not get to go see it and watch it with their friends, but at the same time, y'all can have like a movie day at the house or something, like feed the kids, have popcorn, and different stuff like that. There's also alternatives, different alternatives like that. Explain to your kids, mommy needs rest. Okay, just as plain as simple. With my kids, I don't sugarcoat anything. I need rest, and I'm finna rest. And if you don't like it, then I don't care. Like this, I got to do for me, because you rested, you get to take care of your body. I have to do me and take care of my body. So just explain to your kids, mommy needs rest. Like we can, whatever it is that you need to do, as long as it's not super pressing and important, we can come back. We can revisit it. We can do it at a later time. But right now, mommy or daddy, we need rest. And because if we don't have rest, we can't continue to be there for you and to be supportive for you. And kids are understanding. Unless you tell them you finna take them to McDonald's and you pass 13 McDonald's, kids are very understanding. As long as you communicate with them, the children are very understanding. And last but not least, please understand that you are human, you have emotions, and you are doing the best you can. So that's one thing I struggle with. I'm always like, man, I feel like I need to be doing more. But it's kind of like, dang, if you do more, girl, you gonna crash and burn, and you're going to end up in the hospital. Tons of things can happen. Like you're going to burn out. You're literally going to fall over. So I have to practice giving myself grace more. Um, that way, I, I'm doing enough. Like I'm literally doing what the human body can do to the point, to a certain point, to a certain limit. And if people around you don't understand, because I used to be one of those people, I had to always go, 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 go. And Nick used to be like, girl, why don't you just sit down? I'm like, girl, no, it's a lot of life to live. Like, what I'm going to sit down for, not realizing that I can't live more life if I'm tired. Like, it's cool to go, 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 go. If I could, I could travel. I would travel all the time. And I guess I spoke a little too loud and the Lord heard me. And it was a point where I was traveling so much, I was like, I am getting tired. So you have to be careful what you put out in the universe. I was like, I am tired. I was literally traveling, like flying every 2 weeks. And that went on for about 3 months. And I was just like, I am exhausted. And when I wasn't flying, I was driving somewhere. I was like, I am exhausted. I am tired of living out of a suitcase. And I am tired of living in a hotel. But I thought that was cool, and I thought that was a cool thing to do. Given the opportunity, I know how to deal with it next time. I know how to deal with it. I know how to be like, okay, we're gonna space this out just a little bit. I like jet setting, but we need to jet set within reason. So that I can rest my body, make sure I'm hydrating, I'm eating properly, so that my body will not fail me. Um, and like I said, that was just the end of it. Um, let me see. Do I have a you can't make this up this week? Him. Him. So I guess this will go along the lines of parent burnout. So kids don't think that we know. We be knowing, okay? We parents. We know when something is wrong with them. And finally, New Face decided to tell me that he hurt his shoulder 3 weeks ago. And he has a shoulder impingement. We thought it was rotator cuff, but it's not. We have shoulder impingement. That has added extra because now I gotta incorporate more stuff into my day. And like last week, he had to go to the doctor twice. So this is 2 extra stops in my week that I gotta add into my already busy schedule that I'm tired. But the caveat was he didn't have practice last week. So when I got off from work, I actually got to enjoy, like, I got to go to Pilates earlier and different stuff like that. Oh, by the way, I still gotta make my Pilates appointment for today. Luckily, it's early enough in the day so I can still do it. But I did get to relax a little bit. And when he does not have swim, I make sure that I do not take that for I don't take it for granted because baby, and he like for me to sit out there the whole time and it be beating me down. That's gonna be beating me down. I be feeling like I'm the one that went out there and just got done swimming. I feel like, Lord, have mercy. It's hot out here. Like, what am I what am I doing here? Um so my song lyric of the week, let's find us a good one. I know there's a song. Um what's it called? I should be having this already. But I think it's Mary J. Blige, I think it is. See, I shouldn't be looking for this. Mary J. Blige. But while I'm looking for this, please make sure, if you have not already, please make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that good stuff. Make sure you leaving comments. Make sure you're going to leave a review, 5 stars, because this podcast is the bomb. Make sure you're leaving your 5 stars, and everything like that. And so the song lyric of the week is I'll Be There. Method Man and Mary J. Blige. And yeah, I am your girl, Charlie Shantae. This is the Gag Is podcast. Bye, guys.